in all our meditations, it's really about mindfulness, cultivating mindfulness. So we are not doing like hard concentration. Some meditations is about, concentrating. We're not so much about that. We are just about being mindful of what's going on around us and within us, and just holding ourselves in a sense of kindness, compassion, just holding that space for ourselves, not needing to push ourselves, not needing to judge ourselves. Of course, it can happen and it's okay. And we just notice, oh, I've judged myself, as best as you can, just sticking a kind tone. Life can be difficult enough already, so we don't have to add more stress to ourselves. And what we are trying to do here when we meditate is really practicing how we want to show up in other aspects of our life. So for example, if in a pleasant moment, we may be, reacting and responding quite well to it because it's so pleasant, right? So practicing mindfulness, being really fully appreciating the moment, really embracing the moment and not just, living on sort of that autopilot mode. Or if it's an unpleasant situation, is then how do we show up for it? And that's what we are really practicing. And tonight or this evening, for some of you, depending on your time zone, we're practicing steadiness, how to stay steady. And we're just, cultivating, training the muscle, training ourselves to just be steady in the moments. You might notice restlessness may emerge as you're sitting there for like 15 minutes. You might be thinking, oh gosh, when will this end? 15 minutes seems to be the longest possible time. So how do we deal with restlessness? How do we deal with impatience? How do we deal with, not wanting to be here, wanting to be doing something else, maybe eating an ice cream or, just going out for a walk? So how do we deal with all that? How do we respond to that? So today is about steadiness. So I'd like to just invite you to close your eyes. You may, of course, keep them open if you wish. And all our practices every week is optional. So you don't have to push yourself. If you feel like you need to open your eyes, then just go ahead and open the eyes. But, making that mindful decision, I'm going to open my eyes and then acting accordingly. So you can choose to sit or stand, or midway choose to stand up and maybe go for a walk. Or if you want to, you can lie down too. And just coming to the moments, allowing yourself to just show up in the moments. You've worked so hard to, get onto this Zoom call, to register for the event. So now let's just show up for the moment. And as best as you can, just honoring the moment, maybe with a sense of gratitude, celebrating the fact that you're here. Practicing with people all over the world. And now if the mind is wandering, which is very normal, just noticing, oh, my mind has wandered. Very gently inviting the mind to just come back to perhaps focusing on the breath. Or choosing a part of the body that you want to focus on. Maybe noticing your feet or your fingers or your hands. Or just focusing on the breath. And maybe there are just many, many thoughts are coming through the mind. The mind just can't sit still, stand still. And just allowing yourself to just accept that the mind is wanting to wander. And just being steady about it. Showing up with steadiness towards that mind wandering. So the intention is not to stop the mind wandering, but to show up with steadiness when the mind wanders. And just feeling the breath as you take an in breath and the out breath. Feeling the breath, the sacredness of the breath, or maybe appreciating the breath with gratitude, keeping you alive and well. Or if you're feeling sleepy or tired, so just allowing yourself to just take a steady view about it. Like, oh, I'm sleepy. Yeah, it's tiring, but I can show up with steadiness. Or maybe impatience is bubbling up, restlessness, wanting to move, can't sit still. Just observing what's going on, observing what the mind is thinking, feeling, just allowing yourself to be steady about it. Let me see if I can choose not to move. Let me see if I can choose not to open my eyes. But of course, if you need to move, then, it's okay. Just move. And if it helps, maybe focusing on the belly as you're taking an in breath, noticing the belly expanding, and the out breath, the belly contracting. Perhaps using that to keep yourself steady, a point of focus. Or maybe you have some thoughts that are bothering you, anxious thoughts about work, family, money. Just for now, allowing yourself to just show up with steadiness. As best as you can, remaining steady, being gentle with yourself. You might be just falling asleep by now. It's okay. It's waking up, honoring the moment, the sense of steadiness, just watching, observing what's going on. If you're feeling some strong, unwelcome feelings, maybe worry, fear, chest tightening, strong sensations, as best as you can, just noticing them. And as best as you can, just inviting yourself to just watch what's arising with steadiness, like a third party, like an observer. Leaning in instead of running away, avoiding. So leaning in with steadiness. As best as you can. And now just expanding your sense of awareness to outside you, maybe feeling the room temperature, maybe the wind from your fan or aircon, or the breeze from the outside, or the sound around you, or just the silence. And really just noticing, acknowledging. I'll read you this poem called Steady by Afiyah, the poet. I think she's a blogger. Storms are coming. I go steady. Water is churning. I go steady. Whether the sky is blue or grey, I keep going with steady steps. Live this life long enough to know upsets are many. Can't break them down with every misstep. I've seen the floor way too many times. Learning to go steady when disasters strike. Assess and adjust, learn the lessons. I keep going with steady footing. Afiyah. So just closing the eyes, keeping the eyes closed. Maybe sending a sense of appreciation to yourself for showing up, and a sense of appreciation to those in this space with you. And just allowing yourself to open your eyes when you're ready.